everyone, and welcome to Raina Mo's Designs. And today we are going to work on a table setting embellishment that will bring any event or wedding that's on a really strict budget up to the upper echelon. So if this sounds like a tutorial that interests you, please keep on watching. Alright, so today we're actually going to be making napkin rings. And we're going to be doing that with scraps. It's not going to cost you very much of anything to make these very nice napkin rings. So here is a toilet paper roll. Here is a paper towel roll. I personally prefer a paper towel roll, but you can always use toilet paper. Now, this, if you remember, since this happens to be Vlogtober, yesterday, our tutorial, I used this contact paper. And this is the paper that's on the back of the contact paper. Normally, you would throw this away. I'm not going to. I'm going to show you how to recycle it and upscale it and use it to help make these napkin rings. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to cut your rolls into equal parts, and that's going to give you the exact number of napkin rings that you need for your place setting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this in half because it just makes it easier to cut. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut it in half in the center. Now I'm going to measure it so that everything is exact, and it is 28 inches. Okay, so it measures about 28 inches, so when you divide that in half, that's 14. So I see where my 14 is, and I'm going to just make a little nip at that 14. And just go ahead and cut straight across. And then for the next, obviously, if this is now 14, the next cut that we make is going to be 7. So I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting all of the rolls, and when I come back, I'll show you the next step. So now that I have all my rolls cut, I've even cut the toilet paper roll, which you can see is shorter than the paper towel roll. So that just lets you know if you want your paper towel roll to possibly get 5 out of it, then you can just reconfigure the math so that you can have a little bit shorter napkin ring, but I like this as it is. So I'm just going to take the paper, which was basic scraps, and you can use any kind of paper, gift wrap paper, paper that would normally go into the trash, copy paper, graphic paper, whatever type of paper it is that you have that you want to use, you can use that. So I'm just going to go ahead and measure. And the only reason why I'm using paper is because I don't want to use paint. This particular paper towel holder, you can see the seam like on a biscuit can. You can see that seam. And so I want that covered. Normally, if you can't see that seam, like it's much harder to see the seam on this one. If you wanted to paint it a color that's in your color scheme before you embellish it, then you can do that. But for this one, I am opting to go ahead and actually just cover it with paper. So I'm just going to wrap my paper along to see where it is that I need to make my cut, and then I'm going to make my cut. And feel free, if you happen to have a paper cutter or guillotine, you can definitely use that to make sure that your cuts are straight. I'm just doing a little bit of a rough draft, if you will, on my cuts, but this is scrap paper, so it's not really that big of a deal. So after I've made my cuts, the next thing we're going to do is actually adhere it to the paper rolls. So I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting this, and when I come back, you'll see me in the time lapse of me actually affixing it to the napkin ring holder. Here's what it looks like when I have applied my scrap paper to the roll, and now everything's nice and smooth. Now, you could use contact paper to cover your roll if you choose to do that. It's all up to you. It's just an option. I'm really just doing multiple videos because I've had requests for people who are on extreme budgets, and I'm being as creative I can be with as many free options that are out there as well. So far we have the base of our napkin rings done, and we're going to use Dollar Tree necklaces that you can find in the play section or where the toys are. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the seam that I have, and I'm just going to start gluing the beads to the ring. And it's real easy. It's very easy. You just go and place your bead, and then you're going to feed it through, and then you're just going to go over and over and over until you have it nicely covered. You can also do this with the diamond wrap at the Dollar Tree. You can do it with the ribbon at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to show you all of the options that I've come up with Dollar Tree items for embellishment, and it's going to be the same process over and over again. So I'm just going to get you guys to watch while I go through time lapse and do these projects.
All right, guys and girls, so here I am not going to talk through all of the time-lapse portions. I just wanted to share a few things with you. As you can see, I'm just taking the beads and going around and through, and probably about every third loop I'll add a little bit of hot glue to the inside to secure the bead, and I continue with the around and through method. What I wanted to share with you is how I really enjoyed making this particular craft. And it's not because I'm showing you how to do a craft that's basically free. And it would be free if you didn't use anything from the Dollar Tree, or just using household scraps that you may have, which you'll understand later on in the video, because there's so many things that you can decorate with. But what I appreciated most was the time that I got to spend with baby girl. She was keeping me updated on what's going on in school, the book that she's reading, her favorite television show, and doing crafts with your children, no matter what age they are. I find you can find out what's going on in their life without being perceived as being intrusive. So I really, really want to thank you guys for helping me to spend this extra time with baby girl. Remember our Zawbox subscription? That's what I'm using, the free beautiful gold packaging that comes with that gorgeous spa box every month. See, this is where you would be using scraps or someone else's trash to make a treasure, and it doesn't cost you anything. This particular napkin ring, 100% free. So with this one, the concept that I want you guys to gain from it is the fact that you can use whatever you have. There's always an option and an opportunity to craft, to make something beautiful out of something that you would normally just put in the trash, or you think outside of the box with something that you have laying around the house. So that's the concept that I want you to get from this particular vignette. So all I've done is basically made a sheet of gold foil paper. I've measured it around my ring, and I'm going to affix it with hot glue. The basic steps that I've already taken with all of the other napkin rings thus far, that I will also continue to use with all of the upcoming napkin rings. You're basically just going to measure, cut, and glue. And if you feel the need to bling out or embellish, feel free to do so. And on that note of blinging out, here I'm actually using the gold diamond wrap. And I'm using it on the toilet paper roll, which has a hint of a brown hue to it, because that particular shade of gold of that diamond wrap blends very well with the natural tone of that toilet paper roll. This is the one that I made an alteration to. You can see I'm measuring, cutting, and gluing strips, and it's as easy as that. This one was probably the quickest and the easiest one, using contact paper. You already have your glue attached to your paper. So all it is measure, snip, roll. Easy as pie. Alright, so now we're gonna use ribbon. Fancy satin, gold, blingy looking ribbon. And I think of all of them, this one gives you a very finished look, because it's almost as if you're creating a vertical ruffle, if you will. It's just overlapping through the in and out method, in and around method. You're just looping it over and over again. So this example I'm showing you is with cardstock, and I got this cardstock at Dollar Tree last year. I just happened upon it. I was very happy about it. You guys saw me use it when I was making tags for the bridesmaids gifts. So I'm just measuring, cutting, and gluing. But that's not all we're going to be doing to this particular napkin ring. Just wait and see. Anticipation will be worth it.
So what I have done for you is show you 6 different options that are extremely budget friendly, starting off with the beads, recycled mail, good old-fashioned diamond wrap, contact paper, ribbon, and cardstock. Now, of all of these creations, this one is the one that I'm actually going to embellish. And I'm going to embellish this in a way that you just wouldn't believe. I'm going to do it with paper towel. If you want to see it, keep on watching. Ordinary piece of paper towel that I'm actually going to fold in half. Long ways. And I'm going to go ahead and cut it, okay? And then once I cut it, I'm gonna fold it again into half again, okay? So if you wanted to just fold it into quarters and cut it, you can do that. It depends on how thick or how thin it is that you want your rosette to be. So I'm just folding that in half, and then I'm gonna fold it again in quarters, and then I'm gonna fold it again in eighths, and try and get it as neat as possible and keep your pieces together. I need a little thing of water. I need a little thing of water. Okay. And then all I'm gonna do is moisten my fingertips, and I'm gonna start twisting, okay? I'm just gonna keep twisting it until we end up with a very, very rounded strip, okay? It's basically you're making a cord out of the paper towel. And the water helps keep it tame, if you will, like it does for our hair. So I basically have this cord here, and I'm just gonna wet my fingertip again and just on the end here, do that. Then I'm just going to roll it up, starting with a little nib in the center, and then I'm just gonna roll. But you gotta keep it twisted while you roll, and it has to be tight. And I hope you can see how that's coming together. Keep it nice and taut. And anytime you feel the need, you can moisten your hand. It really does help. But you gotta make sure that your hands are clean too. And I'm coming to the end, and I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue to secure the end. And you look at it and decide which side you prefer best for your rosette, because whichever side you prefer best for your rosette, the other side is going to be the back. So I actually prefer the front side to my rosette, so I'm going to go ahead and use some hot glue to affix this together, and when I come back, I'll show you the next step. So I'm just affixing my little rosette onto my napkin ring. And then at this point you can decide Any other ways that you want to embellish it? Do you want to leave this little rosette the way it is? Do you want to take some watercolor from the Dollar Tree and just dab a little watercolor in the center to give it some color? Do you want to use a marker? Let's say a gold marker to give it a little, well, if I didn't drop it. Can you get that for me, baby girl? Use a little bit of a marker and give it some zhuzh in the center. These are brand new, as usual. I always have difficulty opening things, but I know you're supposed to shake this really well. And I believe you're supposed to pump it a couple of times to get the color to come out. Just gonna depress onto the flower in the center, and you can decide if you want this whole entire rose to be gold, if you just want the center to be gold, if you just want certain parts of it to be gold, or whatever color it is that you want, keeping in mind that I am focusing on a 50th wedding anniversary. So because of that, I'm keeping it gold. That's why everything's kind of in that family with the colors of yellows and such. And just look how cute that turned out. And these projects, guys, these projects are costing you little of nothing. So the next scene that you'll see is a place setting with all 6 of these created napkin ring holders put to use and show you how to use it on display. Setting number 1 with our first napkin ring. Look how cute that design is. Very, very cute and extremely simple, and almost everything was free. We ended up using 3 1/3 necklaces to create this particular napkin ring, and it is absolutely gorgeous. On to number 2. And here is option number 2 with our recycled mail or recycled mailer, courtesy of Zavox. Isn't that cute? And even though it's been bubble wrap infused underneath, the bubbles actually give it texture that makes it look like it's hammered metal, and I just think that that is so gorgeous and ingenious, if I must say so myself. On to option number 3. Bling wrap. How can you ever go wrong with diamond wrap? Just gorgeous. I'm loving all of these napkin rings, and the fact that it can elevate your event for pennies is just making my heart sing. And there you see our craft from Vlogtober yesterday, which was Vlogtober 1. On to option number 4. Option number 4 matches our little centerpiece perfectly, and that would be the contact paper. Look how pretty, simple, elegant, and sleek. It looks like you've wrapped your napkin or tucked your napkin nicely to sleep in a tube of granite. Absolutely gorgeous. Option number 5, next up. Beautiful, elegant Dollar Tree ribbon. What more can I say? You can see how it glistens because of the weave of this particular satin. It is so elegant. It is breathtaking that it is so elegant. But now we come to number 6, which I think is my personal favorite. Option number 6, our final one, which is all paper. Absolutely gorgeous. For this particular napkin ring, you didn't necessarily have to use a toilet paper or paper towel roll. You could have just used this cardstock, which did come from the Dollar Tree. I did a video with this cardstock, I think when I was making tags for the bridesmaid buckets, pails that I made. But it's really good quality cardstock. And then who doesn't have paper towels in their home? How much money could be saved and yet it would still look nice and elegant? All it takes is time, patience, a little creativity, and any event can be upgraded to the next level with very little cost. I hope you guys enjoyed this particular tutorial. Please give this video a thumbs up. Very much I want you guys to share this video. Share it at least 4 or 5 times with everybody you possibly know, because these are simple little touches that anyone can do for any event, but especially for a wedding that is on a severe tight budget. I am so utterly pleased with these simple DIYs. I am really loving this series that I'm doing for persons on a severe budget. That's what I want to call it, a severe budget. Everyone, even if you aren't on a budget, you would like some of these particular napkin rings. I absolutely love them all. I have my favorites, as you can see, but I love them all, and they are just so dainty and elegant and so budget friendly. For pennies, we've created these wonderful napkin rings. So I ask you guys, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and as always, have an absolutely wonderful evening. Bye.